Just remove all the plastic trims. Here I'm just using M10 spline bit to remove a seat belt. It's really not that difficult, just take your time and be patient. Use a bit of force and be gentle at the same time. Here I'm just trying to remove a bottom bit as well. Just give it a good pull and eventually it will come off. You might want to use a plastic trim removal tool to remove some of the clips. You can just buy them on eBay or Amazon somewhere. They're really not that expensive, but very little handy little tools. Here was a good close-up for you. I think I've struggled with a bottom clip. Just try to hook it with a plastic trim removal tool and then give it a good pull, and eventually the whole trim will come off. Well, here we go, just put it away safely. Just putting the seat belt away. Yeah, just a good close-up for you. Bottom bit held with a spot welds and the top bit just held with a 2. I think it's a 13mm bolts. It's very easy to remove. Just here using a ratchet and I think it's a 13mm socket, but I'm 99.9% sure it's 13mm, but I'm sure if you have a kit you will find the right size socket. Just as I said, undo 2 bolts and the whole top black bit will come off. Here we go. Now you're left with a bottom bit which is held with spot welds. I've tried to use a Christmas tree bit to drill them out, but it didn't quite work, so eventually I had to go to my shed and get my cobalt bits out, and they did work. Take number 2, here's my cobalt bit, and you can see metal shavings flying everywhere. So ideally you want to hold a hoover or something next to it so you can catch all the metal shavings, but I'm on my own and it's quite awkward to do everything like at the same time. So I'm moving on down to the second spot weld. Just try to take your time and not to overhead and drill bit too much. And another tip I can give you, just you see that black foam piece I've just covered the hole where seat belt is. You don't want any metal shavings going into your seat belt. Just cover that hole and you'll be okay. You can vacuum all the metal shavings later from the floor. Again, just try to take your time and not overheat the drill bit too much. Now here I'm using a vice grips, just give it a good wiggle and the whole tank will just come off eventually. Now here I wish I kind of fast forwarded this bit, but at least you got to see in real time all the struggle. You might struggle a little bit to take this bit off, but hey, I didn't want to drill big holes in the van. Just keep working away and eventually it will come off. You see a very bottom spot weld. You don't really have to drill it out or to do anything really, but just by rocking it forward and backwards it will eventually break and the whole thing will just come off. Takes a bit of time, but it just comes off clean. Yeah, here we go. We're off now. Horizontal bit I've tried to rock it as well, but it just didn't quite work, so eventually I gave up on it and I just moved on to the passenger side vertical bits. Now I ended up using my angle grinder just to go cut through the spot welds, and later on in the video it will come off. You will see it clearly. I'm just trying to chisel them out with a screwdriver and a hammer, but again it didn't quite work. As I said, eventually I took my angle grinder out, which is not ideal because of the sparks, and I just cut through the spot welds. One thing I'm gonna say to you, just before you do anything, take both seats out, because with seats being on the way it's kind of quite awkward to work. Eventually I took them out, but you can learn from my mistakes, so if you can take them out in the first place, it will give you a little bit of an extra room to work, and it's kind of it's easier with no seats in. Here just hoped that if I'm gonna rock it with a vice grips and it's just gonna come off, but these spot welds are just too strong, and again it didn't work. But as I said, it's an experience and you can learn from my mistakes. At least you can see how somebody done it, and then you can follow it, or maybe you will come up with something different. Here you can see me like just giving up on it, and when I've tried from the opposite side of the vertical bits, and to get to the trims you have to remove a seat. Again, it's not that difficult, it's just held together by the 6 bolts. When you open your seat you will see them, so you might want to ask a friend or somebody to give you a hand with a seat, because it's quite heavy. But I'm sure if you're a strong man, not like me, you can manage. So if I can manage, anyone can manage. Now again, try to start from removing a seat belt using M10 spline bit. Just start from a top trim and remove top trim, then a bottom trim, just same as the driver's side. Now again, using a 13mm socket, remove 2 bolts and the whole top bit, black bit will come out. And then using my cobalt drill bit, just drill spot welds out and rock it with vice grips, and it will come off eventually. Now here I covered driver's side seat with a towel just to protect it from sparks, and I started to cut the spot welds out. As you can see, it's producing quite a lot of sparks, so I covered the floor with a bit of cardboard. And again, once I cut through the spot welds, I'm trying to use a vice grips to kind of rock it and then take it out. Now, one thing I'm gonna say to you again, you might want to take both seats out straight away, so it will give you a little bit more room to work. Just as I said, take your time and kind of gently try to cut through the spot welds. Yeah, I was trying to get rid of the bottom bit without taking a seat out, but then I realized I'm better off taking it out, and just in the sake of like 10-15 minutes it will make my life a hell of a lot of easier. Now I think I'm gonna say to try not to cut too deep through the spot welds, because if you cut too deep you kind of gonna go through the floor, and you don't want this to happen. Like, just take your time and be gentle, and it will come off. Here I'm starting to remove a seat. Just remove a handbrake cover first, and then just make sure you're gonna put something underneath the wheel of your van, and put your van in gear so it wouldn't roll. Just take a handbrake off and loosen a cable, and take the cable off, because just a handbrake, it's a part of the seat. It's no other way of taking a driver's seat out without taking a handbrake cable off. Again, it just held with 4 bolts. Just undo the bolts, and then it's a bunch of wires underneath as well. It's a seat belt sensor and a handbrake sensor. Just unplug it, and then you're ready to take a seat out. And as you can see, when the seat out, you kind of left with a lot of space to work. I'm just trying to move the carpet away from where I'm working. And again, using an angle grinder, just gently just cut through it. Now here you can see I'm taking a guard off, so I do not recommend doing that, but it was just very awkward angle to get to them spot welds. I just had to take it off, but I do not recommend doing it, as that's very dangerous. Like, just again give it a good wiggle, and then the whole thing will come off. Just using a screwdriver and the hammer, kind of flatten everything out, And now it's a cleaning time. Just good, everything a good vacuum, and then just clean everything with white spirit or some degreaser. And whenever you use the drill bit and an angle grinder, just give it a good coat of rust proof paint. I've used hammerite paint. I think I bought it from Halfords. You can get any rust proof paint from any of your local DIY stores. See, you can see me removing the door step. I thought since I got my hoover out, I kind of give it a good clean underneath the step as well. As you can see, it was quite dirty in there. And today's job is complete. So now you know how to remove a bulkhead completely. Thanks for watching.